Hey everybody, it's Cheap Comic Collector Rob. My name is Rob, and this is episode number 274. Cool. Uh, and today we're not looking at comic books. Just to let you know, I'm not doing comic books today. Not going to be a comic book, I don't think, on the channel, unless something occurs to me. Um, what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at some of my Disney pin collection. Um, Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. That helps the algorithm, helps other people find us. And plus, when we get to 400 subscribers, we're going to be giving some stuff away, some comic books. And but today we're going to take a look at Disney pin trading. You know, I was pretty big into Disney pin trading when it first started out in 2000. And I have several of these books that are filled with pins and pin bags and things sitting around that, once in a while I'll dig them out and I'll go through one of them and take a look at them. And I thought that might be something fun that people would be interested in. Actually, since I'm now hanging out on Whatnot a little bit, I'm considering possibly selling them on Whatnot to raise money for comics. But we'll see. I don't know if I want to do that or not. So I'm just going to hold the camera so that I can give you a closer look at the pins as we go through them. And this was a Mickey Mouse pin celebrating his 75th birthday. So you got Mickey in front of the cake with the rest of the gang there. Donald, Pluto, Goofy, Minnie. And on the bottom there, what's that say? November 18th, 1928 to 2003. It's actually a Walt Disney World pin. And these are two different pins. I'm sorry. I thought the way they were sitting there, I thought they were the same pin. But it's actually two different pins celebrating the same thing. Both from Walt Disney World. You got the earlier versions of Mickey Mouse in there. Come on, focus for me. Does not want to focus. Let me back it up a little bit. You can see those earlier versions right here and over here. Maybe the light would help. Let me turn it on and see. Oh yeah, that actually did help define it. I didn't think it would. I thought it would glare off the pins, but and then we got a cool Donald Duck one here. I think I just got that one because I love Donald Duck, and that was a neat pose. Got one Steamboat Willie's 75th anniversary, so that would have been part of that 75th collection as well. The steamboat wheel back here actually spins. That's what they call a spinner pin. It's got some kind of element on it that will spin. And so just some cool stuff. This one, not sure why I would have gotten that one. That looks like I think those are the guys from Black Cauldron. I may have gotten it just because it was a Black Cauldron pin. There aren't that many of those. And this one is Maleficent. I think this one actually glows in the dark, if I remember correctly. I don't know for sure. And you got a Tinkerbell one, and this was a Disney Magic Music Days. This is a pin that would have been given to like the high school bands that come through and play in the parks. And then we got some limited edition pass holder pins. This one's got Simba from Animal Kingdom, 2004. There's actually supposed to be another pin inside of here. I think I got these on discount, so most of those elements are missing. Got the Mickey Mouse one. And there's a Thanksgiving pin with Pete looking for a turkey, 2003. And then there's a Stitch one for Studios. And here's an opening day pin for Walt Disney World for 2004. Now, it's got the Incredibles on there, but it doesn't say what it's actually opening. don't remember there being an Incredibles attraction. They do have an Incredibles meet and greet, so it might have been for that, but it'd be kind of weird if they did a pin just for one of those. And then we got Donald Duck on a van type thing. I think this was a parade that they had, possibly. And most Disney pins have these little Mickey-shaped backers that they use to, to secure the pin when you're wearing it. And then there's a series of astrology pins with the signs. You got Gemini, Virgo, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Little Mermaid is an Aquarius, of course. Sebastian is Cancer because he's a crab. Capricorn, Pisces. Leo has a Lambert, the sheepish lion. Taurus has Ferdinand the bull. Aries and Libra is Jiminy Cricket. And then there's some pins down here. Now, I know this was a parade. They had a motorcade go through Disney MGM Studios as a parade, character parade. And they had different cars that were made up for the characters that were riding in them. So those are recreations of those in pin form. And then we got a series of hitchhiking ghosts. These were actually highly sought after pins, even though they're pretty simple when they first came out. We got some state pins. There's one for California, Alabama, Mississippi, Arizona, Wisconsin, Kentucky, and Uncle Scrooge is from Montana. And there's an R2-D2 pin here. I'm gonna see if I this little disc, and this is considered a spinner as well. I'll see if I can take that off so I can show you the other side. Well, I'll just hold it up. It's got like the Star Wars Weekends logo on the other side because they used to have a Star Wars Weekends event at the Disney Studios here in Florida where they would have, the stars come and different creators and things. It was a lot of fun. And then Disney bought Star Wars and they never did it again. And then we got a couple pirate pins back when Pirates of the Caribbean was popular. They did some pirate pins with Mickey, Goofy over here. I like the Goofy one. His sword actually moves. That's what I was trying to do on the Mickey one, but that one doesn't move. It is pointy though. And you got the aliens from Toy Story. And another page. These are all from these black and white ones. They're from an old Mickey Mouse black and white film. I forget the name of it. If it's the Mad Doctor, that is the Mad Doctor, but I don't remember if that's the name of the film or not. And got a Pluto bondage pin there. And just some other fun pins. You got these are actually from Disneyland in California. I got the Fab Four there, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, and Pluto as the barbershop quartet, the Dapper Dans. Can you imagine what that would sound like if those four were actually singing together? That would be a nightmare. Special pin for Passover in 2004 from Disneyland. I bought a lot. My first trip to Disneyland, I bought a lot of pins. I bought like $400 worth of pins, something like that. It was a lot. We went out there for my mom and I went out there for a convention, and that was a lot of fun. But I spent way too much money on pins that year. I actually got when 9/11 happened, I was actually in California at Disneyland on vacation, and that day that the towers got hit on 9/11 was the day we were supposed to fly out. So we ended up getting stuck at Disneyland for like an extra week because you couldn't fly, you couldn't go anywhere. And, it sucked, but I mean, there are definitely worse places you could get stuck at. So, this was a blast from the past event. That might have been no, this was from later. This was 2004. So these would have been from a later trip. I got a pin celebrating Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which is no longer in Walt Disney World in Florida, but they still have one in California, I believe. And this opens up to show Mr. Toad in his merry automobile. So that's cool. I like pins that are, you can play with, that actually do something. And then there's a companion pin over here that shows the railroad tracks. And if you've ever been on this ride, it ends with you going to hell. I don't know if you are aware of that or not. Oh, that's not this pin though. I thought there was a devil inside. It's just when he gets hit by the train. So you get hit by the train, and then you go to hell. That's the end of the ride. And then you got a Cruella de Vil pin there. That was highly sought after as well when that came out. So I don't know what these are worth. I don't know. I don't really know. I think they're worth quite a bit, but I don't really know. I've seen people on Whatnot selling simple pins like this for 20, 30 bucks. So I think these more elaborate ones should be worth more. I don't really know though. So you got Bullseye and Jessie from Toy Story. That's the little girl from Monsters, Inc. And that's red, white, and blue Buzz Lightyear, so probably for 4th of July, something like that. And then you got a Buzz and Woody pin that matches this Bullseye and Jessie one. And then there's some other ones here. You got Babes in Toyland, the old movie. There's another 75 Years with Mickey. Food Rocks at the Land in Epcot. That's no longer there. Tinkerbell, Ursula. There's a Mary Poppins pins. I usually grab the Mary Poppins pins when I saw it because they don't come out with much merchandise for them, unfortunately, even though it's the most popular movie they have ever created. Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. That was cool. And here we have a Veterans Day pin from 2004. So this book was mostly from around 2004, it looks like. And there's one that's just celebrating some old cartoon from 1935. So some of these would have been, like the ones that don't have cards, I would have found them. People either gave them to me or... because they don't have the backing card that some of these have. Normally I would keep the backing card, especially if they were a special backing card like this. Could be that these just had normal black velvet backing cards on them, and that's why I didn't keep them on the cards too. But this is a Halloween pin from 2004. It's got Winnie the Pooh. He's swinging back and forth here. They're dressed up as superheroes, so that's a little bit comic related. And a lot of these are limited editions. I can't tell how limited without flipping them over and disconnecting them, so we're not going to do that. But and this was a gift pin, probably at a convention, one of the Disneyana conventions, when at one point Disney had their own presence on eBay where they would create collectibles to be auctioned off, and as well as just auction off some old things. So that's a pin advertising that when it came out and started. Didn't last very long. The problem was they would create a limited edition of, say, 500, but it only put 10 or 20 on there at a time. And then, so it was like week after week, it would be the same stuff. And the highest prices were already realized from the people that wanted them the most. And they just kind of deteriorated from there. They just didn't handle it very well, the way they did it. And this is a cool pin. This is Star Wars. This isn't a backer. This is part of the pin right here. And then it's got this other pin element on top of that with Mickey and Minnie as Luke and Leia. That's for Star Wars Weekends also for 2004. So that's cool. That's probably one of my favorite pins. Really like that one a lot. Let's see what else we got in this book. We got Family Pin Celebration. No, Family Pin Gathering 2004. So yeah, this was one of my trips to Disneyland. I believe this where these came from. I think that year's event was in Disneyland. They would switch events. They would have one in Florida, and then they would have one in California, and swap off every year. I pretty much, whenever I saw a pin with Walt Disney on it, I would just go ahead and grab it. So that one's cool to me just because it's got Walt Disney on it. And there's another one. And another one. For a while, they did quite a few of those. That one's pretty neat. And they got a Mickey Mouse Club pin. I usually would grab those if I saw them. And you just got Goofy and Pluto and Donald dressed as Mickey Mouse for some reason. It's just kind of weird. And let's see. Donald Duck sneaking through the Haunted Mansion there. And that pin, that was kind of neat. Chip and Dale at Walt Disney World. And this one, 999 Happy Haunts, a Ghoulish Gathering. That would have been a collectibles event. I didn't go to the event, but they had leftover pins you could get cheap, so I grabbed one of those. And here is Donald and Goofy riding through the Haunted Mansion. And I'm not sure, but I think this has a moving element on it where this lid opens a little bit. In the ride, they just have a hand coming out. Yeah, there it is. So when you go through the ride, this is happening as you go through the hallway. And then this is also a Haunted Mansion pin. You got Goofy and Pluto as the caretaker of the graveyard. That's a scene from the ride, except that, it's not Pluto and Goofy in there. It's somebody else. And that's it for that book. But I think we got time for another one, so let me grab another book. This is fun. So someday we'll go through these die-cast vehicles too, if I get a chance. I'm just gonna, there's a bunch of stuff stuck on top of it. I'm just gonna get one of these. This is a different kind of book. I'm just gonna grab one of the top ones. And this is a little bit different. It's not, instead of a notebook like that was this is got like a carrying case on it. It's got a carrying handle, and this just flaps open to reveal all the pins. And these are some more event pins here. We got, let's see, it all started with Walt was the name of the event that year. This is from 2006. So that was probably a logo pin for the event. You got a Mary Poppins one. And Donald one. Featuring Treasure Island. Now they're saying this is part of a television collection down here. You can see it. And of course, I guess it's live action and television. They combined the two, so that explains it. Because Treasure Island wasn't a TV series, it was a movie. It was Disney's first live action movie, completely live action, actually. And then you got these guys from the Magical Milestones series. This was from the 35 years of Walt Disney World collection, I believe. So we got this one. It's kind of celebrating 1971, the year the park opened. These big drums were part of the parade, I believe. In 1972, you've got an attraction called If You Had Wings. That's no longer there, and they put Stitch on that pin, which of course he wasn't not even thought of at that point. And then this one, they kind of fall around when they're dangling and stuff here. This is just a nice, the Walt Disney Story. They used to have a attraction called that. That's no longer there. So these are pretty cool because they show a lot of attractions that are no longer in the parks. Starjets, 1974. Of course, that's called Astro Orbiter now, I believe, unless they changed it back to Starjets again. We've got Space Mountain, that's still there, but this is a cool pin with Donald Duck riding, and it's got a moving element in the rocket here a little bit. He just kind of wiggles around a little, and then it's got the dangle. Walt Disney World celebrates the bicentennial, probably 1976, I'm guessing. Yeah, 1976. So they have the America on Parade, which was a parade they did, which was pretty famous. It actually had like a lot of merchandise for it. It had plates, and it actually had a lunchbox, even. Then you got the Main Street Electrical Parade. That's still around. They tried retiring it a couple times, but whenever they need the money, they trot it back out again because it's probably their most popular parade. And let's see, Mickey's 50th birthday in 1978. We've seen the logos for that on some of the comic books because they used to put that logo on all the different merchandise. 1979, we got, let's see, they're celebrating their 100 millionth guest. In 1980, you got Big Thunder Mountain, the wildest ride in the wilderness. In the 10th centennial from 1981, I was there for that as well. Even though we were living in Wisconsin at the time, we took trips down here every chance we got. And let's see, you got Donald Duck's 50th anniversary. Don't remember a lot happening for that, but that's a cool pin with all the different levels of overlay on it. And this actually spins here, so that's kind of cool. I don't know. Oh, it's got 1984 on there and some ducklings for some reason. And then, of course, it's got the whole dangle element there with his 50th anniversary logo. I do remember that logo, so that's kind of neat. And that's all I have for that series. There was probably more, but those are the ones that I thought were cool and I got. And there's another Disney pin with Tinkerbell. One featuring a window on Main Street. And in case you're not familiar with Disney lore, they have in the theme parks, they have the main streets with the if you look at the windows in the upper levels, they have a bunch of different names and businesses and stuff, and all of those are paying tribute to somebody who has worked or been involved with the Disney company. You got Walt and Donald and Daisy there, and here's the True Life Adventures logo. I thought that was pretty cool. I always liked the pins where they harkened back to other stuff, and if you open it up, it's got a picture of Walt inside, so that's cool. Let's see, here's some more Walt Disney pins. So this one Shows him on the monorail. And this one shows him on TV. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are watching him on TV. This is actually, I believe this is a scene where they actually were watching TV. I think they were watching the Mickey Mouse Club or something, and Donald Duck had a fit. But it was on an episode of like Walt Disney Presents or something like that. And there's a really old picture from like the 30s when he was doing the Alice comedies, maybe even the 20s. And here's one from the World's Fair in 1964. Now, for the World's Fair, Disney created quite a few attractions. That's where It's a Small World came from, and some other stuff as well, but that's the one, of course, everybody knows of. And this one's got a couple spinner elements too. I'm not sure what's on the other side of that one. It appears to be... Oh, it's Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. That came out of the World's Fair as well. Carousel of Progress. That's what that is. I can't even tell what that is. Let me grab the magnifying glass. Oh, It's a Small World. Yeah. And then see if we can get to the other side of that one. Come on, flip for me. It's in there too tight. I can't flip that one. So, but those are all attractions that were created for the World's Fair, and then they moved them to Disneyland once the World's Fair was over. And then these were really highly sought after at one point. I got these cheap on eBay, but they were, I mean, I knew people that were paying $150 for these pins, so that was crazy. So these are just lockers, right? It's supposed to be Pluto's locker, so it's got like his bones in there and dog bowls and stuff like that. You got Minnie's locker and Mickey's, and these were hard to get. These were pins that people were really looking for. And Goofy's. I was actually a little disappointed in them because I thought the insides of the lockers were kind of boring. I thought there'd be something much cooler inside. And you got Mickey and Minnie on the teacup ride. I always liked pins that showed the characters on the rides. And then this was a puzzle set that created one of the original Disneyland maps. So that was cool. And most of these aren't pins that you would actually wear. There's a Stitch with his Disney name tag. And then we have some more Visit Sunny Florida ones. I thought that was kind of a cool series. We got Donald, Daisy, Goofy fishing, Pluto digging in the sand, Chip and Dale with oranges, and you got Minnie over here, water skiing. For some reason, there's no Mickey Mouse one. I would imagine there would have been one, so I must have missed that one. Here we have the Thanksgiving pin for 2005, and another one for 2005. So this was the Disney MGM Studios one, and this is... I'm not sure. Might not have been for a specific park. And then down here you have some too that were neat. Just got Donald Duck, always a favorite. This one is got some Dalmatians playing on a It's a Small World decoration. They got the Cinderella float that's in all the parades. And Chip and Dale celebrating the cruise line buses. I'm not sure why I would have gotten these two middle ones. They were probably cheap and on sale. I used to I used to have, access to cast member pricing on some of this stuff, so I I was cheap back then too. I didn't pay outrageous prices for these things like the tourists do. So anyway, that's a glance into the pins. I got lots more. If you want to see more, let me know, and we'll do some other episodes like that. But for now, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it, even though it wasn't about comic books. And tomorrow is the claim sale, so we'll be getting into that claim sale. We'll be going through all the comic books that I showed this past week. They'll be available for you to claim for $2 a piece. That includes shipping and handling. And I thank you very much. I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.